Hey guys, Brandon, Taylor's Fine Smoke Cooking. Today we got a good one. We're making some kale and chicken noodle soup. Now this is a really good recipe. I hope you guys give it a try, and it's simple. Let's get into it. All right, so the ingredients we're using for our soup, I'm using chicken drums. Now I prefer chicken thighs, but these drumsticks are actually on sale for 79 cents a pound. So I went that route. We do have some frozen chopped kale we're going to be using. Salt, pepper, garlic. I may or may not be using the cream of chicken soup. Just depends on if I want to thicken it up or just leave it a little thinner. We have some whole wheat egg noodles. Now, I prefer regular egg noodles or Amish noodles, but this is all my wife says she can find in the store, so we're just going to make do with those. Onion, and there may be a few more little ancillary ingredients that we add. If so, I'll be sure to let you guys know as we're cooking. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my chicken washed up real quick. Then we're going to go ahead and get it on and start it. All right, guys. So I have my chicken washed and put in a Dutch oven here. I have about 8 of those legs in here. And I covered the chicken about 2 inches above the chicken. So it's not a ton of water, enough to cover it. We can always add if we need to. But I want to build up a nice little broth for our soup. I'm not going to put any seasonings in it at the moment outside of some of this Knorr chicken bouillon. I forgot to mention this initially. I had it sitting out and just didn't mention it, but I am going to put a couple tablespoons of that in our water just to start off building the flavor. And then we're going to put onion in here as well. And that's all what we're going to use initially to start our soup or to start our broth. Okay, so we've allowed our chicken to cook until the chicken was fall apart tender. Took roughly 45 minutes or so. So we're just going to begin to remove the chicken from our broth now. Now I did skim off some of the foam or whatever that's on top of the chicken. You don't technically have to do that, but I like to do that anyway. And it just makes for a better presentation in my opinion. But nevertheless, I'm just pulling my chicken now, and I have probably a third, the liquid in my pot is probably a third of the way up the pot. So we're going to go ahead on and add water to that as well after we add pull our chicken out of there. Now, if some of the chicken falls apart and stays in the pot, that's perfectly fine. It's not a huge deal. I just like to pull the chicken out that way. I make sure that I don't have any gristle or bones still remaining in the pot. Also, this is a very, very versatile dish. So again, we're making kale chicken noodle soup, but we've made it tons of different ways. You can add mixed vegetables. You can add potatoes and corn and leave the noodles out. So many different ways to do this. Plus, it's really, really simple. And you can cut down the time even more if you use pre-cooked chicken or rotisserie chicken. So I just love the way, love this recipe because there's so much you can do to it. So to that pot, we're going to add in about 8 cups of water, 8 to 10, give or take, depending on how big of a pot of chicken and noodles that you want. My kids love it. We love it. So we're making a fairly large size pot here. Then we're going to go ahead and start building the flavors of our broth even further. So we already cooked our chicken in the liquid and have flavors from that onion, the Knorr, and our chicken. But we're also going to add in some Italian seasoning, which is optional, or you can add a bay leaf. But I like adding Italian seasoning because it has a lot of the herbs and stuff in it that I'm looking for: salt, pepper, and garlic. So here's our Italian seasoning. And then again, we're going to go with some garlic powder. You can use fresh garlic if you wanted to, but I'm just using powder. And then we're going to go with salt and black pepper at some point. I'm not going to go heavy with the sodium because we did have some sodium from our Knorr, and we're going to add a little bit more of that in there as well. So if you don't want to use salt at all, you can just use, your chicken bouillon or whatever kind of broth you have. So you can make it as a low sodium type of dish or a regular sodium type of dish. It's totally up to you and very versatile. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of my Knorr in here right now, and then we're gonna bring this up to a rolling boil and let that broth build for a little bit. Okay, so once we brought our broth up to a rolling boil, I let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes just to marry all the flavors together. Now we're gonna go ahead and add in our kale. Now we're almost at the home stretch because it doesn't take long for this kale to cook, and then egg noodles, they cook quickly as well. So we're going to be going with our kale. We're going to mix it in and begin to bring it up to a boil as well. Also at this time, I'm going to add in my black pepper. Up to this point, I haven't added any black pepper, but I like to add it now and let it cook with my kale and then the noodles as well. Just begin to start tasting your broth. This is kind of seasoned to taste, so we like to go heavy on the black pepper, a little heavy-handed on the garlic, but it's kind of up to you. So if you're not a huge fan of black pepper, then clearly you can add not nearly as much as I, or if you love black pepper, you can add more than I do. It's your call. Like I said, this is a very versatile dish, and it's kind of like user-friendly, so just do whatever you want to do with it, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so we've had our soup boiling again for another 15 minutes. Cook down that kale a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and taste it again to see where we are with our salt and our pepper, if you want to add more or leave it right where it is. So I'm going to add a little bit of sea salt in here right now. This is the first time I've added salt to it whatsoever. We've just used our Knorr up to this point, but now we could use a little boost with some regular sea salt, and I'm going to add some more black pepper in here as well. Also at this time, we're going to go ahead and add in our egg noodles. Again, it doesn't take very long for our egg noodles to cook at all. So once you add those egg noodles, you're probably looking at a good 5 to 6 minutes, and then we'll add our chicken in to finish everything out, and then we'll be ready to let it sit, bring everything together, and serve shortly. So it's really quick. We're on the home stretch, and we'll see you guys back here in just a moment. All right, guys, so now we're going to drop in our egg noodles. I initially put in 3/4 of a bag, but I just went on and used the whole bag. Again, these egg noodles cook so fast that you can kind of wait just to gauge and see how it's going to look in your soup. But I did wind up using the whole bag. So all basically we have to do now is just cook our noodles until they're basically done, and then we're going to fold our chicken back in there, taste it one last time to make sure we're spot on with our seasoning, cover it up and let it go, and we'll be ready to eat. So we'll let it cook, these noodles cook for a few minutes, and then we'll bring you back in when we add in our chicken. All right, guys, so we've had our noodles just about done now. You can see how they've expanded and filled up our pot, and everything is looking really, really good. So now we're just going to add in our chicken, let it go for another couple minutes within there with the chicken in the pot. Take it off the heat, let it sit for a little bit, then we'll be ready to serve it up, and I'll let you see how it looks in our bowl. Now you can serve this with crackers, cornbread, biscuits. It's kind of up to you. Again, really, really versatile. And I decided to not use that can of cream of chicken soup. Now you can if you want it a little creamy, but I decided after I put my noodles and everything in, it was just perfectly fine. And once you let it sit, it will tighten up a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and roll with it. We'll be ready to serve here shortly, and hope you guys enjoy. Give it a try. All right, guys, and here's our finished look. Chicken and kale noodle soup, extra on the noodle. It's really, really good. I hope you guys give it a try. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video. Till the next time, God bless. We will see you around.